Boxing King Media in association with BoxRaw. Delighted to have with me here. We've just arrived in Poland. Gareth A. Davies. Gareth, how was the journey?
I'm good, BoxRaw. How's Gull?
He'll be here tomorrow.
He'll be here tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing Gull. Stay well, travel well, Gull. Thank you for your messages. And wishing you back to full health, and glad to hear you're on the road again. Great to be here in Poland. Early start this morning for all of us. Big group of people on the flight here over to... We've been working on our pronunciation. Should we get it right? Should we get it right?
Let's get it right. Let's get it right.
Let's try and get it right. We are doing Roslav. Roslav. I got it in the end. It was written Rocklau in our phonetic alphabet, maybe. Yeah, it's great to be here. It's travelling out with some of the Queensberry guys as well. They're very buoyant about what Daniel Dubois can achieve here in front of 45,000 Ukrainian fans for Alexander Usyk at the football stadium here, isn't it? Can't wait to be outdoors. Weather's beautiful. Looking forward to a balmy week, balmy night. Could be one of those special nights for British heavyweights.
Let's go back a few weeks, Gareth. Would you have been surprised if Alexander Usyk decided to vacate his WBA title and not fight Daniel Dubois?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Looking at getting some big fights rather than worrying about the belts, you mean? I don't think he's that kind of guy. I think he wants to hold on to those three belts. And I think he wants to be undisputed. He's following that same path now that Anthony Joshua wanted, which is road to undisputed. Think about that, undisputed cruiserweight, an undisputed heavyweight champion. What an amazing achievement that would be. I think, and also I don't think he sees the contenders apart from Fury as a major issue for him. Look at that, he's a 9-1 favourite. 9-1 on favourite against Daniel Dubois. That's a 10% chance for Dubois to win in the bookies' eyes, in the bookmakers' eyes. Certainly with William Hill it is. Spoke with Lee Phelps about that last night. I don't think he'd worry about Flip Hrgovic as well, and what we saw from Flip a couple of weekends ago with Dempsey McKean. It's kind of quite one-paced. So, and I think Usyk is a big favourite in that one as well. Would he vacate? Would he have vacated? No, I just don't see it. If the Fury fight had been offered to him already, and it was mega millions, he might have. But I think they're all doing their own route. I think he's discussing potential of big fights next year with the Saudi Arabians. Obviously, he's signed to Skills Challenge, which is interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Frank Warren, Queensberry, Fury, Top Rank, presumably have done a deal with the Saudi government, with Riyadh Season. So you just wonder whether Usyk's got to move to a different camp or not. I don't know how the land lies there. But I do think they've got ambitions to get Fury and Usyk together next year. They must have, because they know that those fights, like Fury and Wilder again even, I think, is a big fight in the Middle East. I can see a fourth fight between them. And if Joshua beats Wilder, and there's a lot of people in boxing that think he does, imagine Fury and Joshua in the Middle East as well. We were going to have it. We were going to have it 2 years ago, weren't we? In August, it was there really. So, yeah, but interesting question. Got me thinking.
What's going through Daniel's mind? He's joined forces with a new trainer, right? He's left Shane McGuigan. He's coming off that injury as well. He's going to be fighting a man who die-hard supports his country in Ukraine. It is Independence Week as well for Ukraine. 40,000 plus in that stadium. What goes for a young man like Daniel, who hasn't been at this level with and doesn't have that level of experience also?
It's a learning fight for him. It's a win-win, whatever he does in this fight, in my view. I've picked Usyk to win by mid to late round stoppage. I think I've gone for rounds 8 or 9. I do think Dubois has got to come out aggressively. I spent an hour with Don Charles on Saturday night at the Talk Sports studios, and he is fervent that he's got into the head of Daniel and made him realise that he's got to take his opportunity, he's got to take them early, he's got to go hard, educated pressure, he's got to put it on Usyk. And then Usyk, of course, is putting out his narrative that he was just sitting back and looking at Derek Chisora for 5 or 6 rounds. He was conning us. I don't think he was. I think Derek is a dangerous, rumbustious fighter. And how long ago is that now? That's 2.5 years ago, isn't it? I think. Was it early 2021? Yeah. Yeah. I think Dubois does lack experience, but he has looked slightly different mentally. It's all about whether he believes on the night when he's in there, when that long ring walk is going to happen through the football stadium, where they'll keep him in there for 10, 15 minutes, where the anthems will play, where 45,000 Ukrainians are going to go wild for one of their national heroes, whether he's just got it in him to do that in the Lions' Den. Can Daniel do it in the Lions' Den? He can, but it's a big, big test for him. He's got to look at this as a learning fight, but a massive opportunity. I mean, do you not agree he's got to try and go early, put the pressure on Usyk, not allow him to find momentum and rhythm? Do you not agree? Are we allowed to have a two-way conversation?
We can have a two-way conversation, but I'm here interviewing you, Gareth, so we want to hear your opinion. Are you surprised, obviously, Usyk signing with Skills Challenge, that this didn't land in Saudi? Or do you think the whole Usyk wanted to bring a fight close back to his home country of Ukraine?
Yeah, I don't know the background to that, actually. Obviously, he wanted a homecoming. Obviously, they've allowed him to do that. I think this fight signed before that deal was announced. I think it was. Was it not? I don't know why. It's a very good point. I think there was a lot of manoeuvring going on at the time. I think there's a lot of politics being played. I think this part of the big heavyweight game. It's very strategic. And I think it's a bit like a giant iceberg breaking up slowly until the sea finally emerges. And there's a lot of fractious groups in it all. No, I'm not surprised it's here. He needed a fight here. I think he hasn't fought in Ukraine for 10 years, something like that. He's been on the road. He is the ultimate road warrior. But he's going to be able to fight in front of his people. Look how steeped he is in the Cossack ways, the dancing, the boots he wears, the costumes, the valetes, the salvetes that he gives out. The hail to the Cossack warriors stuff. The poems. I think he's phenomenal. I think people will really embrace it. And I'm really looking forward to that cultural side of it this week, actually. Daniel's got to keep himself steely. I'd love him to win. I mean, a lot of people don't want him to win because they want to see Fury Usyk. I think we'll see Fury Usyk anyway. But I see Usyk as a big favourite. He's an unusual character. He's got a screw loose in the right way. He's kind of zany, isn't he? But to answer your original point about this, Dubois is inexperienced, but maybe that's an advantage here. Suck it up, enjoy it, go out there, do your best. He's probably getting really well paid. I don't know what the money's. I'll try and find out this week, but I'm sure he's being paid fairly well. He's the mandatory, so it might be a 70-30 or 75-25, but it's a great opportunity for him.
You mentioned earlier about Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. Do you feel like there's a chance that fight might not happen? Recently, Eddie Hearn's done a number of interviews where he's spoken about that fight, and he's alluded to in his tone that, well, if Skills Challenge want to pay for it, it will happen. Have you noticed a change in dynamics, and do you feel like that fight might not just happen after all the talk?
Yeah. I think there's a possibility. I think they're mulling it over. I'm not sure I'm not sure that they're 100% on it. How long is it now since he fought? It's 2 weeks on Saturday, isn't it? I'd expect an announcement in the next 10 days if it's going to happen. They're all on board for it. The camp, views are split. There are split camps on whether he should take the fight next. I wasn't sure about it, but I think it's now or never, really. Just take it. Fight Wilder. He's being paid enormously, apparently. He's just come off the back of a massive highlight reel knockout. Yes, he was cautious, and he was. He can't be as cautious against Wilder. People like David Hay and Tony Bellew believe he should have another fight. Carl Froch has slated him and says he gets knocked out by Wilder. People like Don Charles and others believe that he will get to Wilder. I want Anthony to do well. I want him to win. I want to see Fury and Joshua. I want him to come off the back of some wins. But I'm picking Wilder in that fight. I'm picking Wilder to get through and hurt Joshua by the 7th round. I just think he's a stalking, predatory menace. And if you can't get him on the back foot and keep him on the back foot, he's going to land something. He's going to land something big. That's all he's looking for. Just that equalising power in either hand. Fury's been down 4 times from him, hasn't he? And Joshua has got up and won before. I'd forgotten that he'd got knocked down by Klitschko and got up and won. That was a tremendous, probably his best performance. But whether... Hearn is obviously talking a big game that he wants it next. Joshua wants it next. I do think we need that fight announced in the next 2 weeks if it's going to happen. Certainly if it's going to happen in January, because they're going to be going into camp soon, aren't they?
Absolutely. I know we're in Poland, but yesterday we were in London. We were in Wembley for the announcement and the official press conference for KSI versus Tommy Fury and Dylan Danis versus Logan Paul. What did you make of the press conference, Gareth?
It was chaos. It was pandemonium. John Fury had enough of the talk of Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou from Logan Paul and KSI. They were on a wind-up. I think Logan Paul was very wound up anyway because of Dylan Danis and the things he's been putting out there about his fiancée, social media trolling. I know all of them. And there's a lot of WWE going on here, but there was big security there. Not a punch landed, not a punch was thrown. A few tables and chairs got dismantled, notably from John's boot. Obviously a very large cake of Dylan Danis got splattered on everyone. In fact, I remember interviewing Joe Markowski at the end of the afternoon, the DAZN executive, and there was just a cake glove on the corner right next to the nameplate of Joe Markowski. And it was a bun fight, if you can call it that. It did massive numbers, didn't it? And that's what they're about. They're about generating numbers from this. It's not boxing. It's WWE style. The platform of fight sports is being ransomed and hijacked by a different form of boxing. Obviously, Tommy Fury's caught in the middle. He's not going to not take big fights with people like KSI, a naturally smaller man. Yes, he's improved as a boxer and as an athlete. There's so much jeopardy on Tommy Fury. He's got it all to lose in this fight, again, against Jake Paul. And he had nerves against Jake Paul like he did against Jake Paul. I mean, massive nerves there. Got knocked down in the last round or slipped or got caught or whatever it was. Huge pay-per-view numbers. This will do arguably the biggest pay-per-view numbers of the year. William Hill tell me that it probably will be the biggest betting event of the year so far in terms of fight sports. So what did I make of it? I was glad to be there, working for TalkSport, doing some social media clips. Always interesting to be around these people. They're very, very clever marketeers. You look at Logan Paul and KSI creating an illusion and a synergy between them with the prime drinks and different things they've got going on. They fought each other twice and they became pals. Good luck to the Furies. I mean, good luck to Tommy. He's a young dad. He's got a good problem to have, which is all the big name YouTubers want to fight him. He might end up fighting Conor McGregor. He might end up fighting Logan Paul. I mean, he might have a rematch with Jake Paul. You know, I think I was there with Conor McGregor interviewing him as he was calling out KSI. Couldn't box eggs in an egg factory, as he said. So it's a different lane, all of that. Who wouldn't do what Tommy Fury's doing? If you're being called out and you're offered millions to fight a YouTuber and you're a young dad, you're in love with your wife, I think it's his wife, engaged, yeah, fiance. You've got a young baby, Bambi. You know, he's under pressure because he's not following in the family tradition of looking to be a genuine heavyweight world, cruiserweight or light heavyweight world champion. He's probably never going to go that route because he's going to earn so much money in these 3, 4, 5 fights that he has in this milieu that he won't need to fight. He probably wants to. It's in his DNA. I mean, he's a big, handsome guy, isn't he? And he's powerful. Got the fight in him. But I just... Why would you not do it? So it was a fascinating event yesterday. And there's a massive crossover. I would say you've got the Furies there, you've got Kalasau and you've got DAZN, but this is a different lane. And Call's very clear about that, and I think Joe Markowski of DAZN is very clear about that. It's sports entertainment. It's where WWE meets boxing.
Okay, Gareth, we've done about 15, 16 minutes. We've literally just arrived in the hotel not long ago as well. And it's Wednesday today. We're going to have the public workout at 5 o'clock. Tomorrow is the press conference. Friday's the weigh-in. And then Saturday find out. So, yeah, we'll catch up most days this week. So I don't want to overdo it today. But, yeah, we'll catch up with you probably later on at the workout.
Well, I've given you my pick. We've talked about the heavyweight division. We talked about the press conference yesterday. We'll just have to react off what happens this week. Maybe we'll get a brawl between Dubois and Usyk this week. Would it, in your view, final question, and you have to answer this because it's a two-way conversation, would it advantage Daniel Dubois to give Usyk a slap and get under his skin, or even give Krasiuk a slap and get under his skin?
Definitely not advantage Dubois.
I'm not so sure.
Gareth Davies, thank you for speaking to Boxing King Media.